The Western Conference semifinals are set for the NBA, and this one feels much more like a gauntlet. So honestly, this one is just going to be who survives the West and will make it to the next round, because we got big matchups, OKC Thunder versus the Denver Nuggets, and then we got probably toughest one to predict in the Warriors facing off with the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Definitely harder to predict in the Eastern Conference ones that we dropped already. Let's start off with the bang though. The MVP showdown between Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And first of all, the Nuggets, proved us wrong slightly. They survived a 7-game against the Clippers. They took over game 7 and the Clippers clippered. I guess that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, honestly.
Harden game 7 again, once again. But going back to this now, the Thunder versus Nuggets. The Thunder, obviously, like we said, chilling 4-0 sweep against the Memphis Grizzlies. Now you got the Nuggets, who had a hard, grueling matchup against the LA Clippers. So how is this gonna go? Obviously, the Nuggets are a little bit more experienced. They have the championship pedigree, obviously, from a couple of years ago, and they have obviously, their players. The problem is the team is not the same. There was a reason why we picked the Clippers to beat this Nuggets team. The only reason why we gave it 7 games even was because Nikola Jokic existed. So in this case, he's going to extend the series to a certain degree as well. But for me, if you're looking at the whole regular season, from game 1 to game 82 plus these 4 playoff games, the Thunder have been way better than the Clippers have been.
That's right? For sure. Thunder have been the best team in basketball this year, and there's no regarding that. Like, they have been so dominant and they've shown it so much. The good news for the Denver Nuggets is that people around Nikola Jokic stepped up. That's the main reason why they're in this matchup in the first place, because Aaron Gordon put up his game. Jamal Murray did his thing. Russell Westbrook put up some points as well. Christian Braun, defensively and offensively, chipped in, and then obviously Jokic doing his thing. And Adelman has done a great job for being thrown literally into the fire. Yeah. And right now he's doing a wonderful job.
He might have 6 positions.
Yeah, for sure. And so when I'm looking at the matchup right now, obviously when you're looking at the best defensive team, obviously going up against an exhausted Nuggets team, because at the end of the day, it was a grueling matchup, those 7 games, and it took everyone just to make it to this point.
Not even just those 7 games. It was grueling near end of the regular season as well, because the Thunder were chilling for most of the regular season near the end of the year. The Nuggets are still trying to fight to get out of the play-in spot for the most part, right? And they obviously did, finishing as the 4th seed. But yeah, that's the key point there. Can someone else now continue to keep stepping up alongside Jokic? I believe Jokic is going to get his, right? The Thunder, where they struggled last year especially, which is what they addressed with Isaiah Hartenstein, was the rebounding, was the size. They were still up and down this year as well. And if you have Jokic being the main guy getting the rebound, and he could push the floor, and then on top of that, you gotta have guys like Aaron Gordon crashing the board and getting rebounds as well to get second chance opportunities. So the thing is, can someone else step up? And I'm obviously once again looking at Jamal Murray to be the consistent Robin in this case as well. And then on top of that, when you get those second chance points, can you make them count?
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's the main thing here.
Here's the thing. When I'm looking at it, matchup wise, I might probably expect to see Dagno play the double big lineup quite a bit in this series. Yeah. 1, because of the size, and 2, you have 2 solid bigs, Hartenstein and Chet. So I won't, like, at the end of the day, like, Jokic is going to attack the post. Jokic doesn't want to shoot threes. Like, at the end of the day, he will do it because he has to, but Jokic wants to get inside. Having 2, big guys, obviously Chet being a little bit skinny, so not as big, but Isaiah Hartenstein coming in and, fitting in. Well, I think that double big lineup is going to be very important to add size to this roster. And obviously, you'll still have J-Dub, Shea, and probably Lou Dort or whoever else is coming off the bench. And whoever else is coming off the bench is going to have sick defense as well. So defensively, matching up against everyone in the Denver Nuggets is, pretty solid except for Jokic. And that's where I feel like the double big lineup might come in and benefit them.
And then for the Thunder here, like when you're looking at on the defensive side, listen, the Nuggets went through that Clipper team defensively. Yes, this Thunder team is better than them as they performed during the regular season, but if you're looking at personnel, it's still similar. Like, it's still very similar. You have Lou Dort. Probably they call him Torture Chamber for a reason. The guy, and he'll always take the best matchup. Will he short off on Jokic? I doubt it. He'll be the guy on Jamal Murray. Yeah. Right? And then you have guys like J-Dub, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, obviously Chet protecting the rim, Isaiah Hartenstein potentially protecting the rim at the same time as Chet as well, right? So defensively, they're obviously... The Nuggets have faced somewhat similar when obviously the Clippers with Kawhi, Dunn, Batum, Zubac, whoever, right? So that way, listen, it's just like the key thing is Jokic has got to be Jokic. We know that. I expect him to be the same. We've seen that all year long. And the key for them is, at the end of the day, can Jamal Murray, for me, Otherwise, someone else be a consistent Robin with him as well.
So when you're looking at it, like obviously the Nuggets went through a tough defensive matchup with the Clippers, but they're going up against the best defensive team in the NBA, and they're rested. And on top of that, my point for Nuggets offensively is like they're not fully healthy. Aaron Gordon is, struggling with, I believe, a groin injury. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr.'s AC sprain is just so painful. Like he's being a baller just playing through that.
Game or two. Jamal Murray is obviously kind of not fully healthy heading into the playoffs.
So like at the end of the day, like it's gonna be a tough physical matchup again, and that's not gonna be great news for the Denver Nuggets because one, they have no rest, and two, they have players playing hurt right now.
And so with the Thunder, that's where my key point is. Can you be aggressive on these guys? Right? At the end of the day, yes, you're going to test the ref's whistle for sure. To your point, you gotta be aggressive, right? There are people who were complaining about Dort injuring Ja Morant, even though in my opinion, it wasn't really a dirty play. It could be reckless, but it wasn't dirty in a sense, right? So yeah, for them, can they just be aggressive? They're not going to stop Jokic, sure. Can you just limit everybody else? And Jokic is not going to be... Yes, he can carry you to a win. I get that, but can he carry you to 4 wins if you're gonna be that aggressive and all that, right?
And the last point, I just want to say, my personal last point for this, series is gonna be like the good news in that first series against the Memphis Grizzlies that people around Shea stepped up offensively.
Yeah,
and obviously Shea did his thing in the closeout game. So as long as that's the case, it's gonna be very difficult to stop these guys offensively as well, because if Shea is on and everyone else around him is hitting their shots and hitting their threes, like at the end, it's gonna be tough to stop these guys.
Yeah, so that's my that was my I have 2 other points. One was that can Shea now be the MVP guy? He wasn't that for the most of the Grizzlies series, which is fine. That was the Grizzlies series. This series, we want to see an MVP showdown. We need to see you consistently do this. We've seen you do it in the past. It's not like you're known as this playoff choker. For example, like last year. For Team Canada, even he's been the guy that stepped up and led the way as well. My last point for the Thunder is just put the game away early. They're one of the best teams during the regular season where they just at the end of 3 quarters. We saw it in Game 1 against Memphis where they just put the game away early. We've seen the Nuggets make a run. Game 1, for example, against the Clippers, they came back and won the game. And I did personally see when the Thunder choke against the Timberwolves during the regular season, the one game as well. But that was an anomaly, in my opinion. If you're able to put the game away early, right? You have the depth, you have the physicality, you have the defenders and all that. You should be able to win this game comfortably, in my opinion. I don't believe it's going to be a comfortable way, but that's for their keys to make it comfortable if they can. So
before we move on to our next series, we'd appreciate if you guys smash that subscribe button because we drop NBA content like this multiple times a week. Also, if you like this video, if you enjoyed this video, please like it down below and comment your opinions down below. Comment your predictions down below for each series and stay tuned till the end for our predictions for each series. But right now, we're going to move on to probably the most unpredictable matchup, in my opinion, in the second round, which is the Minnesota Timberwolves coming off a victory over the LA Lakers versus, I have to emphasize that, versus obviously the Golden State Warriors, who survived the 3-1 scare comeback against the Houston Rockets. And in Game 7, it was a Buddy Hield game for the Golden State Warriors, and obviously Curry and Butler did their thing. And then the other side, people around Anthony Edwards are stepping up. Julius Randle has played amazing in the playoffs so far. Rudy Gobert had himself a game where he put up a 20-20 game and had a career high in playoff points. Jaden McDaniels was actually exceptional for 4 of the 5 games against the Lakers. He hit his shots and was, effective offensively, and obviously we already know he's effective defensively. And at the end of the day, both of these teams defensively are solid because one, the Timberwolves 1-5 are solid defensively, and obviously the Warriors adding Butler, and now you also have a depoy candidate, which is Draymond Green, who is obviously defensively, these guys should be able to match each other. And obviously in Game 7, the Warriors held the Rockets to like 90 points.
But here's the thing. It was kind of concerning to me that they went 7 with the Rockets,
yeah,
especially being up 3-1, especially with the Rockets not having a clear number 1 guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like Sengun, can he turn into a version of Jokic? I'm not saying Jokic level in the future, sure, but he isn't that right now. So that was a concerning part. Like you let Fred VanVleet turn back the clock to 2019 essentially, post Sun getting a kid, Fred VanVleet, and did that. Like Draymond Green addressed that in the the presser after the Game 6 as well. Like, hey, I'm not surprised that Fred VanVleet did this. The difference is you're going against Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards had like hell of a series. Anthony Edwards showed in this Lakers series that he is a superstar in this league now, right? That's the thing where can they do that? Before I break down further, the key, we all know what the key is going to be here. It's going to be Rudy Gobert. Simple as that. right? What do the Warriors lack? Size, right? The Lakers pretty much lack size, especially with Jackson Hayes was unplayable on the court, and we saw what happened when Rudy Gobert went going. The difference is Draymond Green is able to match up against that defensively if he needs to, but we know Draymond Green also needs to be on a guy like Julius Randle or a guy like Anthony Edwards as well. So Rudy Gobert is going to be key, both offensively and defensively, because we already know what the matchup is going to be. Get Steph Curry or Jimmy Butler in the ISO one-on-one against Gobert. And to be fair to Gobert, he handled it well against the Lakers for the most part. He didn't look silly like he did last year against.
But here's the thing with this. In his Utah days, I know last year Luka did his thing. Obviously, Kyrie did his thing. But the real kryptonite for Gobert was the Warriors in his Utah days, right? And even the Rockets.
The Warriors, mainly the Rockets.
And the Rockets, but the Warriors did it too. And at the end, Steph Curry, they've done it before. They found a way to take Rudy Gobert out of the game. And I think they should be able to do it again. But personally, I do think Rudy Gobert has improved and obviously can do his thing as well because of what he did in the Lakers series as well. So can he be like... It's going to be tougher because Draymond obviously has a better interior presence than anything that the Lakers had. So obviously, I think Rudy Gobert should be better than what he was before, and I think he should be able to continue his game. But overall, at the end of the day, it's still going to be a concern. Just because he did it in one series, it doesn't mean it's a race, because at the end of the day, each matchup is going to be different.
They can go double big man too with Naz Reid as well. And he stretches the floor as well, right? And he held his own well as well defensively on those one-on-ones against Luka as well. What I said about the Warriors being concerning with the 3-1 blowing, almost blowing the 3-1 lead, the Timberwolves had an impressive first round at the end of the day. Not many people expected them to win the first round. Neither one of us. I think every ESPN analyst picked the Lakers to win that as well. But at the end of the day, they proved that, like, hey, they are the better team at the end of the day, and they showed why they were the better team. In this case, that's going to be the thing. The key, though, is, listen, I expect Steph Curry to be Steph Curry. I expect Anthony Edwards to be Anthony Edwards. You could cancel them out slightly then, right? The question is the next two. Jimmy Butler, I expect him to be Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy Butler as long as he's healthy.
I expect Butler to be a Butler.
The question is, can Julius Randle continue to what he did in the first round going to the second round? If you're looking at overall depth, that lies to the Timberwolves a little bit more. So even then, are you going to rely on Jaden McDaniels to do what he did, right? I don't think the Warriors are going to give him every open shot like how the Lakers did as well. Can Naz Reid be that effective sixth man of the year type of guy to stretch the floor and hit the shots and whatever the case may be, right? So the question is, who is that number two guy, and can he match up to what Jimmy Butler is going to produce? And we know there's one polarizing player out of the series outside of Julius Randle and Reid, and that's Buddy Hield. The amount of times I've seen Warriors Twitter go, "Why is Buddy Hield playing? Why is Buddy Hield playing?" And I agree with them sometimes. I'm like, he's kind of a defensive liability to a certain degree, and if he's not hitting his shots, what is he used for?
Yeah.
But then you saw Game 7. He made a couple of key defensive plays, and he knocked down the shot. So Buddy Hield is a very polarizing player that way. But overall, can the Timberwolves match production, what they will get from Steph and Jimmy Butler?
And here's the thing, like, it's going to come from Anthony Edwards, right? Because at the end of the day, we saw how Anthony Edwards played throughout this series, the Lakers series, and he got his. Obviously, except for Game 5, Anthony Edwards got his, which obviously helped open up the floor for other people like McDaniels, Gobert, Randle to get theirs as well. And their team, the Timberwolves team, picked up Edwards in Game 5 and got the job done, even when he shot terribly. But overall, at the end of the day, like, we're not expecting, like you said, we're expecting Edwards to be Edwards. And as long as Edwards is Edwards, this Timberwolves team will always have a chance. And that's why they had a chance and honestly demolished the Lakers in the first round, because Edwards was Edwards, and that Edwards was a superstar level player. And I don't expect to see a drop off from him, which means I won't expect to see a drop off. Like, I might see a small drop off, but I don't think it's going to be much of a factor, because he helps the team so much. He helps the team get theirs because of him being so dominant and taking all the focus and taking all the attention from the other team. And the last point I want to make about this series is at the end of the day, both teams play physical ball. Both teams play good defensive ball as well. So at the end of the day, it's going to come down to who's going to out freaking brawl the other team, essentially.
Two things very quickly. One, do you expect Julius Randle to continue what he did from Series 1?
It's going to be tough.
With a better defensive team.
If Draymond Green is obviously his primary defender, it's going to be way tougher.
Yeah.
So, like, it's going to be more of a challenge in that case. But if,
I mean, Jimmy Butler will make it tough too.
But I feel like Jimmy Butler has to be on Ant.
Yeah, but like they're switched though too, so you gotta see.
Yeah, no,
they're obviously gonna find the Curry matchup, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, like I don't think it's gonna be like him getting like 20 plus points every game, but like I feel like he'll be able to get consistent 15 plus throughout the series, which I think could be enough. Because at the end of the day, we've seen Warriors be involved in low scoring matchups with the Rockets.
Second point, can the Timberwolves rattle Draymond Green?
100%.
Because Rudy, he calls out Rudy Gobert way too much. Who's gonna be on here? They're Rudy Gobert.
100%. Bro, we see this guy get rattled.
Anthony Edwards as well.
We seen this guy get rattled in the Houston Rockets, bro. This guy got flagrant, got technicals, and all that stuff. He had his legs flailing. He was pushing people. Like at the end of the day, that's Draymond. That's who he is, and he has anger management issues, and that's never gonna go away, I guess, as long as he's playing.
All right, prediction time. Here we go. Once again, comment your guys' predictions down below. Do you agree or disagree with us as well? And check over the Eastern Conference video as well. But here we go. Let's start off with this one. Or do you want to start? It's the toughest one for me.
Who do you have?
Ultimately, I'm going to go 7 games. It is very tough because what the Timberwolves showed me in the first round was very impressive. And the Warriors concerned me because of that, of how they went to 7. Ultimately, though, I am going to go with the Golden State Warriors in 7 games.
I am going to go with the Timberwolves in 7 games of what they did in the first round. I expect Ant to take over a lot of games. And overall, the thing with this is this Warriors team became defensively good when obviously Jimmy Butler got there. Whereas the Timberwolves have always been defensively solid and have always been physical and always, been like, I'm going to beat you to the ball. I'm going to out hustle you. Everything all along those stats. They've done that all year. They've done that for multiple years now. And I feel like that's what's going to help them. Because at the end of the day, when they're going to dig deep, that's what's going to come out. And I think that will give them the edge in a 7-game series. So I go with the Timberwolves in 7.
Thunder Nuggets. This one, again, somewhat tough. It depends on how much do you believe in Jokic carrying this team. Like I said, Thunder have if everything goes right, you could even see a sweep. However, Jokic is that good. That team can get hot. We've seen the runs they make. So ultimately, I am going with the OKC Thunder in 6 games.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm also going OKC Thunder in the 6 games. And the reason is because I am concerned for these players playing hurt for the Denver Nuggets. They've already been through a long-ass series, a long, physical, grueling series against the Clippers. And it's not going to get any easier because the Thunder are what the Clippers are, but better, and have depth and have their obviously star player, MVP star player in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So, they don't have the Clippers aura in terms of choking as well.
Yeah. So overall, that wraps it up for us. Make sure you guys, once again, comment down below. There's a video popping up here to my right. That's the Eastern Conference predictions we made. So make sure you guys check that out as well. And we'll catch you guys over there. And we'll catch you guys over in the next one.
Peace.